Welcome back, guys. Welcome to Cookie's Fishroom. My name is Norm for those who don't know me. Thank you once again for joining me on this wonderful day. Hope you're all well. Today I will be chatting to you guys about breeder boxes and the misconceptions that are aligned with them. So before I start, I'd love for those who haven't subscribed yet to the page, please do so. Jump online, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications, and don't forget to check us out on Cookie's Fishroom on Facebook and Instagram. Now, today we're talking, like I said, we're talking about breeder boxes and certain misconceptions that come with them. And one of the biggest misconceptions are that they stress out the fish and kill the pregnant mother. Now, what I'm saying is not that it doesn't happen, it does happen and it can happen, but more of the misconception is that you can avoid it if done properly. A lot of the times, thousands of times on Facebook in particular, I get asked the question, my guppy or my live bearer of some sort is pregnant, what do I do now? How long has she got? And for those who are actually wondering about that, we do have a video about how long does my guppy have to go before she gives birth. That video is not just for guppies, it's all live bearers, so don't forget to check it out. It's further down the list. Just select videos under Cookie's Fishroom and just drop your head down and you'll find a very useful video. This is a method that I use using a breeder box that does not stress out the mother fish, the female, and in a way the fry are kept safe from her and the rest of the tank, and you don't need to have a separate breeding tank for the females for that, for this reason. Some people don't have the room or can't simply afford it. So the things that do stress, let's start with the things that do stress out the mother. For one, in a tank, and this is why I do basically recommend getting a breeder box. Inside a tank, you will have most likely other fish, whether it be other live bearers, and if, let's just say guppies, my favorite fish of course, in a guppy tank, unlikely you'll have larger fish like Oscars or, flower horns. Most likely you will have other guppies, endlers, platies, mollies. Now, when the female guppy is pregnant and she is going to labour, she does give off some hormones, and those hormones do attract other fish, and in particular other males. They go crazy and harass her until she is stressed. Now, if you don't stop that harassment, it will cause the mother to either miscarry these babies or to die herself. And the only way you can stop this harassment is by putting into a breeder box. That harassment to me is more stressful. If you sit and watch it, it is more stressful than sticking her into a breeder box initially. You save her the trouble of being harassed. And it's not just a mental thing for her, it's a physical thing. She gets tired. She has to swim around like crazy looking for hiding spots. Even if a fish tank is heavily planted, it's still going to happen. Those hormones are in the water, and those other fish, in particular the males, will track it, or will track her down, I should say. So I don't recommend the little plastic boxes that you get on Wish or eBay. Sometimes even some local aquariums will sell it. Do not recommend those tiny ones. But what I do recommend is a net breeder box. I've got one here. You probably saw it in my hands a bit earlier. One of these. And this is the smallest one that you can get. So most of the time, I'm hoping this will fit your tank, because if your tank, it does not fit this, you probably shouldn't be having fish in that tank, to be honest. Let's face it. Now, this here will help your fish not get stressed. And you're probably thinking, how is this different from a plastic breeder box apart from the net part of it? Well, number one, it allows flow to come through this box. So what you see here, the net actually lets water come through sideways, underneath, from the top, and allows the fish to actually feel like it's part of the tank. It can actually physically get in contact with other fish. I'm not sure how many of you sat down and looked at guppies, endlers, platies, mollies. Some of them, you will notice, do pair off, and it's kind of cute when you see a male and female hang out together. And sometimes when you do separate the males from the females, or in this case, a female from its male into a breeder box, the male does get depressed. But when you put her into one of these, she can still physically come in contact with that male through touch. It does make an emotional difference to them. Again, less stress even for the male in this instance. So flow and current makes a huge difference. It gives that sense of freedom to the fish. That's one. Number two is light. There's a wider area. You can see light will penetrate this much easier. Rubbish doesn't tend to stick to this as much as it does with plastic, dry foods, etc. So the other thing is it's bigger open space. So the sense of freedom, she's not squashed in the box per se. She is in a box, but she ain't squashed. And this is the smallest one. You can get one that's actually double the size of this for those who have bigger tanks or want to get a divider and put, in the middle and to have two of these size boxes, you could say, or just want to have the extra space for their pregnant mum to be. That's another way, another reason, I guess. But the most important reason is you can fill this up with moss and floating plants. And that's what I do basically. I stick a whole bunch of Java moss into this, have floater plants in there, frog beard, water lettuce in particular. I love water lettuce, and red root floaters. You stick them in here with a bunch of moss. The plants don't die. They get the current that they need to keep going. If you're dosing ferts in the tank, they get that too. So it's not cut off from the circulation of the tank. The plants won't just die. You put plants inside a plastic box, and I can guarantee they will be dead within a week. So the plants play an important role. Number one, it gives a sense of, again, freedom to the fish, less stress. She can hide away from the other fish without being harassed, which is what they do anyways when they go into labour. And it breaks the line of sight between the mother and the fry, so she doesn't get the temptation to have a high protein snack as soon as she gives birth. So the fry tend to like to swim upwards after birth, and some do sink to the bottom. Either way, you're covered. With the floating plants, it does give them that place to hide above the line of sight from the mother. And with the moss, it does break that line of sight with the mother. Yet again, they can hide in between all those, I'm not sure what you want to call the branches of the moss or vines. So it's important to have the plants in there. And when you're feeding the fish, it will float through the smaller crushed up flakes if you're using that as a feeding method for the new fry and for the established fish in the tank. So the fish don't miss out and don't have to have separate food either. There's lots and lots of benefits of using this breeder box compared to leaving a fish free in a tank to give birth. And believe me, if you're breeding fish for the fry and trying for a particular line, strain, this is what you want to do if you don't have that spare tank. It avoids the necessity of having a spare tank. I have never had a fish abort, miscarry, die in one of these when giving birth. I've left the fry in here till they're big enough until they can go into the main tank. And that's another benefit of this. It's not one of those little crappy breeder boxes where they can't. Now, if you want to see how I've set one of these up, you can. There's a picture in a thread that's pinned under announcements in Cookie's Fishroom. You can have a look at an example of this. I successfully have been breeding guppies and other live bearers using this method, and I couldn't recommend it anymore to anybody. So those who run around saying don't do it, watch this video. Hopefully it will change your mind. And to those who do have a scenario where they need to keep their fry, they're afraid that their fry is going to be eaten by other fish or the mother, or that the mother is stressed and they don't have anywhere to put it because they don't have a densely planted tank, this is what you need. They don't cost much. $5 online will get you one of these. Highly recommend it. And that's it for today. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you and somebody you know. If not, please again, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, And to those who have already, thank you so very much. Thank you for joining us once more. Hopefully, I will see you guys again next week at the same time, and take care of yourself. Bye for now.